My name is Ella Ringrose, and I'm a psychic and energy healer and a life coach from Ireland.
What is the soul?
The soul is the true essence of who we are. It's who we were before we came here, and it's who we are when we leave this earth. And I see it as this white ball of light, this infinite love, and this is our true essence. This is our spiritual energy, and this is where we go back to after this life.
Is a soul born? Does a soul die?
I believe the soul never dies. I believe it is infinite. It has no beginning and no end. It is this infinite energy, and I see our soul as being birthed through Source, this big ball of light that wanted to express itself in many different forms and creations. So it parted out into different fragments, which are souls, all part of the one.
What's the difference between a young soul and an old soul?
I believe the difference between a young soul and an old soul is how many times that soul has taken formation and experienced lifetimes. So an old soul is a soul that has taken form many times. So it's experienced, it's gone through many different galaxies, dimensions, earth realms to have the knowledge and the vast experience that it has, versus a young soul that has only taken an incarnation a few times. So that's why when they call people an old soul, they have this vast amount of knowledge in them because of their soul experience coming back to earth many different times.
Mind, body, or soul? Which is the real us?
The real us is definitely the soul, but it's understanding that we're here for a human experience. So the mind and the body have just as much importance now for us. But I do believe our true essence is definitely our soul.
Are human incarnations voluntarily chosen?
100% we have a choice to be here, and I believe there are millions of souls that want to come to Earth. It is a gift for us to be here. It is definitely the soul's choice, as Earth is the densest, hardest learning ground for us to expand and experience, and we bring so much with us after. The vast experience, the knowledge, the growth that comes from this experience when we leave is why our soul comes here. So I believe 100% we volunteer to come here.
What's the purpose of life on the physical plane?
The purpose of life on the physical plane is for experience. It is for us to learn lessons, to grow, to feel all the polarity, as there's so much duality in this earth of the dark and the light versus when we're in the spirit world. So this experience really allows us to grasp the full spectrum of polarity. So in this human experience, we are witnessing ourselves playing out in billions of different bodies. And so the soul gets to learn from adversity, from challenges, from the light and the dark, the duality of this earth, in order for it to fully stretch and experience and learn the lessons that it needs to on this earth plane.
Why would a soul choose to leave heaven?
To the human mind, it sounds like out of this world of like, why would we leave such a blissful state? I believe the soul chooses to come here because there is so much more variety, flavor, experience that this human life offers, that when we come here, it's such a great opportunity for the soul to experience all these different energies, feelings, emotions, tastes that we don't necessarily get to experience in the spirit world.
Many people experience challenges while living in a body. Does the soul seek such challenges, and if so, why?
Absolutely. And I light up hearing this question. I feel that the soul 1,000,000% seeks it out because it's what allows us to stretch and to grow, versus if we lived a very sheltered life, there wouldn't be much we would learn. It's really when we're faced in these experiences, these challenges, that we really go inward and reflect and look within. And that's where the soul recognizes itself. It's when we go through that darkness that we find that light. That is the most priceless gift that the soul can experience.
Do souls have more than one incarnation, either on Earth or elsewhere?
I believe we take many different forms on many different dimensions and planets and galaxies. all across space and time. I believe that is what the soul does. It continuously wants to take new forms to learn new lessons.
Does the soul plan its incarnations ahead of time?
Yes, I believe it does. I believe we choose our family, we choose where we live, we choose all the little nitty gritty parts of our personality, our looks. I believe we choose it all. I believe there's a higher plan to everything. So the things that you may have gone through that felt really challenging, I always see that there's a higher purpose to that, a higher perspective. And I believe the soul chooses the big major events of our lives before we incarnate in this earth so that we can learn the lessons that the soul has decided to learn in this lifetime. But saying that, I do believe there's a lot of free space for us to move and to experience the way we want to in between these life events. And I think the way to really move through this life is through the trust and surrender that it is all for a higher purpose.
Do we have soul groups that we incarnate with across different lifetimes?
Absolutely. I believe we choose our family, we choose our partner, we choose our friends. I believe we have a certain soul group that we continue to incarnate and swap roles all the time. And I believe it may feel challenging, but I find that the reason we choose them is to reflect parts of ourselves that we're wanting to learn. So sometimes it may feel challenging or sticky or difficult, but I believe that there is a higher purpose to us choosing our soul groups.
Are there contracts or agreements between souls?
Yes, and in fact, I find that the villains in our life or the people that challenge us the most are just like characters. So I see us dressing up as different characters and we create contracts of you're going to upset me or you're going to come into my life and love me. And each contract serves such a deeply beautiful part in our experience. So yes, I 100% believe this to be true.
Do spirit guides or angels assist us?
Spirit guides and angels are with us from like the minute we are born to the minute we pass, and they are around us all the time. And I've done hundreds of psychic readings connecting to people's guides and their angels, and they always show me as if it's like a team around us, a spiritual team. So we have angels behind us, we have guides around us that are holding us, assisting us, loving us, and supporting us all the time, from the minute we're born to the minute we leave this earth. And I believe they can help us when we learn how to connect to them, learn how to connect to our intuition. They will give us synchronicities, signs, noticing maybe if in your life there's like a flow or a harmony, they are usually a part of helping this orchestration. So the more we can connect to them and hear their voice and get to know them and love them, the more they can really show you the way in your life and put you on the right path. So a lot of the time when you get an idea or you get this intuition to go somewhere, sometimes it's your guides, your angels stepping in, and they can intervene as much as we like, but we have to ask them because they cannot access or intervene with our free will. They have to have permission. So the more you ask for guidance, for support, if you want to ask for a sign, asking for the sign of show me feathers in 24 hours, just to show that they are there with you. The more you can connect to them and ask them, the more they can help, and they will intervene in your life and help you with many different things, manifesting a home, a partner, whatever it is. Your guides are listening all the time, but it's up to you to connect to them.
What is death?
Death is coming home, going back to where we truly live, where we truly come from, where we stem from. I see death as just a celebration of a soul's incarnation and the things that it has learned and experienced and felt. Death is nothing to be feared because once we leave this human world, our spirit goes back to great, tremendous peace, so much love. Every person I've spoken to who has had a near-death experience describes it as well as utter peace, utter love, almost that they don't want to come back. It is a beautiful, beautiful celebratory time for the soul to come back to where we belong. And it is not the end at all.
After death, do souls return to visit loved ones still on Earth?
Yes, I believe they do. And I believe they're giving us a lot more signs, messages, comfort than we may know. I believe they're around us at all times and can visit us freely. And it is nothing to be feared. It is really just knowing that they have so much love for you. They're sending love for you. And a lot of the time, past loved ones can become your spirit guides. They can assist you on the other side more than you will ever know and dramatically be creating shifts in your life. They are really working just as much as they would be when they were here in the physical plane.
What is the veil of forgetting and why do we need it?
The veil of forgetting plays such a huge part in this. By us forgetting, we actually take this world more seriously. We actually get our hands dirty. We actually start to become a part of it. We forget so that we can eventually remember who we are. And that in between space, that gap, is probably the most exciting adventure for the soul because it gets to forget who it is and dive deep into the personality, the human experience, the density, and then we go on this journey in this path of experiencing all these different things of our family, of our job, of relationships. Because if we knew who we were, we wouldn't take it as seriously. We wouldn't really get our teeth in it and our hands dirty because we would always be remembering where we are. And then over the time, through these experiences, we find that vault of light within us, our soul. And then this awakening, this expansion of remembering who we are is one of the greatest gifts that the soul can then experience from forgetting to remembering in this physical plane.
Discuss the role of free will in a given incarnation.
Free will is all about us learning to make our own choices and our own decisions in this life, in this incarnation. But every action we have has a reaction. So with our choices come kind of like the boomerang effect. Things come back to us. We have to take responsibility for what we're creating in this physical incarnation. But in the same breath, our free will offers us and allows us to start leaning and trusting on our inner compass, on what we choose is for our highest good. And I noticed that for people who go on a spiritual awakening, what starts to happen is this free will starts to morph into divine will, where you are making decisions from your higher self, your inner compass. But until we get to that space, it is really about us understanding that our actions have reactions, they have consequences. And from there, we can choose to make more aligned choices that are for our highest good.
Is life on the physical plane an illusion?
It is in the sense of it is not who we really are. Who we really are and who we stem from is so vastly different than this experience. I believe we are the ones that create this illusion. I see the world as kind of like a blank canvas, and we kind of choose the way we want to paint on it. So we can create an illusion that we are deeply unhappy. We can create an illusion that we are deeply happy. So it's really understanding that we are the creators of the illusion. We have the so-called control of the way we want to perceive this world from our inner thoughts, our inner emotions, our inner actions.
Do we create our own realities?
I believe we create our own realities because every single thing in this world is just energy. It's just consciousness. And so when maybe you've had an experience where you find you continue to attract the same person, literally in a different body. Every single time it's the same energy. I believe that our soul chooses to call in experiences to reflect back something that it's wanting to learn. So when it comes to creating our reality, I believe on a higher level, before we come in, we're choosing the things that we're wanting to learn, the things that we're wanting to create in this world. And then we can drop down and we have a bit more free will space to make our individual actions and choices of what we're wanting to create in this now moment.
Describe the life between lives.
I don't believe there's like one blueprint on how it orderly happens, but I do believe that when we pass over, we are brought back to the light, we're brought back to family members, loved ones, our guides, we're going to meet our angels, all the beautiful love that wants to surround us. And then we move through a life review. And then if we're wanting to choose to incarnate again, sometimes souls go to a place to rest for a little while if they've gone through something catastrophic on the earth plane, or if they're wanting to jump right in, they can then choose the family they want to incarnate in, or if they want to move through with the current family passed over, they get to choose the life that they're wanting to move into, all of that stuff before they come back and incarnate into earth.
Are we judged or punished for our mistakes in the afterlife?
I love this question, and I believe wholeheartedly we aren't judged at all. Because when we come down to earth, we're brought into this physicality where we forget the true essence of love that we are. And so when we judge ourselves through the ego, because the ego is so rooted in fear, it's going to find everything to fear in this reality, everything that is wrong, everything that's not right, why that person's not good enough, why we're not good enough. And so that is very much the human narrative that we hold. But when we move up the layers to angels, to spirit guides, to higher realms, they're literally nothing but love. It is the only frequency they embody and know. So there is no part of them that can even cast judgment upon you, because we're the ones that create it in the human realm. In the spirit realm, it is nothing but love, and they're not there waiting to point their fingers at you. In fact, they are just here to reflect the love that you are by holding that unconditional loving light on you so that you remember and know who you are once you pass over.
Is there such a thing as hell?
Wholeheartedly, I do not believe there is such a thing as hell. I do believe that we can create hell on earth. The belief that there is a hell, that there is a place where you're going to be shamed and given out to, again, was created by the mind through fear. When we move up the scales of consciousness to the higher realms, again, it is nothing but love. It is your truth. It is who you are. I believe that we can create an illusion of hell. I believe that there are ideas that we can create hell on earth as well through fear, through shaming ourselves, through that lack of self-love, through that lack of connection to source. But the idea that there is this place you're going to go to be punished with is not true, my idea, because when we pass over, our souls go through a cleansing, and on the other side there is nothing but love. There is no judgment. There is no bringing that earthly experience that you experience with you and being punished on the other side, because this is where the learning ground is, and this is where the essence of that experience is before we go back to where we're from.
Describe the life review.
The purpose of the life review is to show you that every action we take has a reaction, and everything that we have done in the physical realm has a ripple effect. The life review is one of the most beautiful things, and I think it is such a blessing if you know about the life review before you have passed on, because the life review is really reflecting you on when we pass over. Your guides, your angels will show you almost like a movie of every choice, every experience, the things that you may have done that hurt people, but also the ripple effect of if you gave someone a small act of kindness, it can show the ripple effect of that. But I always say it's the biggest blessing to know about the life review before you have passed over, because you can almost replay the life review whilst you're living your life right now to ask yourself, almost like pulling yourself out of the movie and asking yourself, what do I want to change? Do I want to continue this pattern? Do I want to continue these habits? Where can I make a shift, so that when you go to that life review, you know you listened to that inner power and you made that change.
What is karma?
I actually don't like the word karma, because I think the connotation of that is that there is something shunning you for every decision that you make. So there's this almost fear as you're walking around of, am I doing it right? Am I doing it right? And if not, will something come back at me? I find karma is really the energy of cause and effect. What we put out, we will experience in some form back to us. And I feel that because it's almost like throwing a boomerang and it coming right back to us. It's like a taste of our own medicine. And so the gift of this is really to understand that we are all one, that we are all connected. And so when you are doing that to another person, you're also doing that to yourself. So if you're hurting someone, you're actually hurting yourself, because we are all just individual parts of the source. So the beauty of this so-called karma is that we are all in this earth plane experiencing the individuality, and through us putting things out, we're going to receive that medicine, that like the taste of our own medicine, back to us.
How do you define forgiveness?
I think forgiveness is one of the most beautiful lessons we learn on earth. And I can give it almost two analogies. Forgiveness is always got to do with the self. So if we have hurt somebody, and every day we are thinking of how much we hurt that person and we feel so guilty, and maybe we're not speaking to that person anymore, the person that's harboring that hate, that guilt, is still within us. Okay? And let's say someone else has hurt us so deeply, and every day we're so angry, we're so bitter, we're so hurt by that person. We're still the ones harboring that in our bodies. So it's not to say that the actions you did were right, or the actions they did were right to hurt you, but forgiveness is such valuable medicine for the heart that when we can find within our body, within our being, within the intelligence of our heart to forgive somebody, we're actually freeing ourselves from all those emotions that we are projecting to that other person, because we're the ones feeling it. Forgiveness is really about going so deeply within your heart, finding the source, the God source within you, the love, the light within you, to reflect that back onto anything. And that also goes for forgiving ourselves. I find a lot of the time we're actually just holding resentment towards the way we act towards ourselves, the way we treat ourselves. The one person that is always yearning for forgiveness is the self. And the sooner we can move and dance between forgiving ourselves constantly when we need, we're freeing ourselves of the burden of holding our past and bringing it with us and allowing us to anchor so deeply to love in the present moment. It's really important to understand that it's not about condoning what someone did was right, or that if someone in your life is abusive or someone's bullying you in work, that you can just forgive and love them and allow them to continue being that way. What you can do is, set boundaries, define and really honor within yourself what is worthy of staying in your life and what isn't, and allowing the rest to clear out. But forgiveness is a beautiful act to allow yourself to free yourself from that experience. So forgiveness is not about allowing people to just dance around and do whatever they please if it's harming people, but allowing yourself to free yourself from their actions through the boundaries, and then allowing yourself to cleanse that from within and refining back to love.
How do you define happiness?
I define happiness on how well you truly know who you are. I don't believe happiness has to be you vibrating in love or being in peace. I truly believe when you are intrinsically connected to who you are, which is your soul, and remembering who you are, nothing beats that joy and that happiness of remembering your true essence and allowing that to exude out in your physical world, in your physical life, in your physical body, in your appearance, the way you express. I believe that is the core to true happiness.
Discuss the idea of oneness/unity and how we can apply it in our everyday lives.
Oneness is the understanding that we are all of the same source. We are all connected at a higher level. And on the physical plane, it can seem so real that we are not all connected, right? There's no thread between us that we can physically see within our eyes. But when you start to grasp the understanding that your soul is real, that you have a soul, you can start to witness the soul in another person. And the best way you can do this is through the eyes. They always say that the eyes are the mirror to the soul. And so when we look into another person's eyes, we can actually see a reflection of ourselves. So the more we can start to understand that everyone in this earth is a brother and a sister, it is a part of you, it's an extension of you, the more you're going to allow yourself to be in a deep state of surrender, a deep state of trust, a deep state of compassion, of love, because you are accepting wholeheartedly yourself and therefore reflecting that out externally as well. And a practical way you can apply this as well is almost seeing this world as like a hologram. And any person you come encounter with, projecting your face onto them and seeing them as you. This is going to allow you to have so much more understanding, compassion for what that person is going through, because you are seeing yourself in that person, because you are a one of the same. You are created from the same pieces. You are the exact same at a higher level. And so by doing this, you can really start to open yourself up to the essence and what it viscerally feels like in your body of unity. Instead of mentally thinking it, you're actually starting to feel it.
What does the belief in separation cost us?
It can cost us a lot, because when we engage in the essence of separation, we're immediately dominant on the mind and the ego, and that can create fear, jealousy, shame, greed, destruction, all these energies. Because if we were looking at a replication, a reflection of ourselves, we wouldn't want to actually hurt ourselves. So by this understanding that we're all separate, it can create division, divide, and we see this playing out all over the world. So why I believe this is not serving us is because when we start to connect to the understanding that we're one of the same, we're all of the same essence, that's when we can really start to bring peace and harmony back to this world. And so until then, the illusion of separation is what will continue to cause this destruction. But what we can do to create a massive part in this change is embodying the essence of unity.
Where is heaven?
When we think of heaven, we usually will put our heads up and look up at the clouds and think that heaven is up here. But if we can understand how this universe works, is that everything is of energy. And so we are in a third dimensional energy, a 3D world that is very dense. So when we move out of that reality and into higher levels of consciousness, to higher realms, heaven, so called, is the highest frequency of light. So when we think of higher, we're maybe looking up, but it's actually simultaneously here right now. It's just that we are in a lower frequency that we cannot see it. Just like our angels, our guides, they're all around us, but they're existing in a different dimension. So I almost see it as like houses or elevators, right? Every level is a different dimension. And so the highest level is heaven, but it's still all simultaneously here, like in a building. So heaven isn't necessarily above us, but it is a dimension, an energy realm that we go back to when we finish this earth realm.
Where is God?
This is by far my favorite question because God is not outside of us. God is not in the clouds. God is literally within us, right? If we even think about thought or feeling, that's an inner felt experience. We cannot experience God without it going inward and feeling it. Therefore, it is literally inside our bodies. We are living and breathing embodiment of God. It's just that we forget this essence. And the moment we can remember and give breath to that and awareness to that, that is when we start to breathe that life force of that God source bigger and more expanded in our space. But the truth is, God is within every single heart, every single soul within us right now. God is the true essence of everything. It is pure, unconditional love. And I almost see God as it started of this beautiful form of creation and it started separating and moving into all these different forms of creation. Thus, every single physical thing we see in this world has a piece of God in it, has a piece of spirit in it. That is why they say spirituality. It's a spirit running through everything, a consciousness running through it. God is the purest essence of love, the purest form of creation that we all harbor within ourselves. What is God? This is a meditation I did a little while ago, a hypnosis, where I literally moved up to the source of what God is. And I felt nothing but euphoric bliss and so much love. It felt like my heart was going to explode. And the only way I can explain it is like the very top level, there's this vault of beautiful, loving energy that is holding everything. And as we move down into these physical forms through the soul, and we move into this body, we live in this reality. But the truth is this is where we came from. This essence of love, unconditional love, is where we came from. And the beautiful thing about the human experience is that we can tune to our hearts at any moment and connect back to that source of where we came from. So we get a piece of God within us that we move into this realm, and that's our soul. But the truth of what God is it's nothing but the energy, the feeling of love. And it is the form of creation. It is the form of every single thing existing on this planet, in this universe, that we can witness, feel, see, hear. It is the creation of absolutely everything.
Many believe we're shifting to a higher consciousness on this planet. Do you agree? And if so, can you describe this shift?
100%. And it really excites me when I hear this because what is happening on Earth right now is people are starting to awaken to remember who they are, right? So in the world, there's a lot of things kind of pushing us into this pressure cooker. And that's how we make diamonds, right? It's through alchemy. The more we look externally, which is what's being encouraged in this world, the more we're actually going to be pushed into this corner where we look within. And so what is happening in the world is collectively people are starting to question this world, who they are, where they came from, and starting to awaken to that essence of the soul. I almost see it as like there's a foghorn, like a horn that's being blasted, and people are just hearing it and starting to wake up all over the world. And what's happening with that is through more people starting to awaken, there's going to be a more beautiful harmony of energy flowing in this world. It will show that every system in this world is going to shift. There's going to be more community, more collaboration, more love, which is the essence that we're here to birth and bring back into this world right now. The essence of love, because there is very much a lack of that in this world. So the more souls start to awaken and the consciousness starts to ascend and raise, that frequency of love is going to be vibrating in so many people that collectively it's going to make such a huge shift.
What's the most important thing you learned from your near-death or other spiritually transformative experience?
To put and define it to just one spiritual experience would be limiting myself, because every single event, meditation, connection, conversation I've had with one person always brings me back to this one word and this one truth of every experience, of every somatic spiritual experience I have experienced, and it's the word of love. Whenever I look in a person's eyes and connect with someone, or I'm meditating, or I'm doing yoga, or I'm doing whatever spiritual experience, even during my spiritual awakening, the one word I continue to go back to and the one feeling I continue to go back to is the word love, because that is truly who we all are. And that is truly where we come from, what we are at our truest, deepest essence. And it is the energy that surrounds us all the time. It's the energy that we are. And so through all my spiritual awakenings, all these journeys, all these experiences that I've gone through, it's the one principle I continue to go back to, because it is constantly the one source that feels the truest to me. The word love has literally almost kind of like shrunk into one little funnel, and I see that as romantic relationships. But the truth is that love is an expansive energy, infinite wave that moves in through many different things. If you love writing, if you love dancing, if you love giving yourself a massage in a relationship, you love your family, you love your friends. Love is the cosmic energy that weaves every experience together in this world. Even when we're hating, we love hating, right? We love everything. And so love for me is this deep feeling of unconditional acceptance, unconditional love for who we are, right? Unconditional acceptance is accepting ourselves no matter what. It's accepting ourselves, knowing we are good enough, knowing that we are worthy, that we are valid, our voice is valid. The essence of love cannot be explained in words, because it's a visceral feeling that when felt, your aura, your soul just fully expands into who you are, here to express and here to be. It is the essence of who you are. And the more you continue to go back to that vault in your heart, the more you continue to do practices that engage that almost muscle, the more you're going to notice your entire reality, your entire self start to shift and make form into a completely new version of yourself.
What are some practical applications of the idea that we're eternal spiritual beings?
This is something I connected with my guides on not that long ago, a couple weeks ago, because I was asking and pondering on this question, because I always understood that we are infinite beings. And a mantra I always would use that really has helped me in so many times is the mantra, I'm pure consciousness. Really connecting to that part of us that is infinite, that is presence, right? So when it comes to understanding that we're eternal spiritual beings, what my spirit guide told me was, Ella, go and meditate on the infinity sign. That is who you are, right? There's no part of an infinity sign that you can go, that was where it began or that's where it ended. It is an infinite form that just continues on and on again. And so I encourage anyone to simply look at an infinity sign and meditate on it and understand that is what your soul is. That is who you are. And the more you can start to feel it, the more you're going to be able to understand it. It's something that the mind will never be able to grasp, because we are living in a very dense time space reality through the mind. So the more you can start to feel it, the more that energy, that feeling will start to expand in your life. And that's where you can really start to feel that you are of an infinite being.
What's the secret to remembering who we really are?
The secret to remembering who you are is forgetting everything you thought you knew, everything you were taught. I feel in society we're taught how to be, how to act, how to dress, what way to speak. The more we can unravel all these parts of ourselves that are not in full alignment with our truth. I almost see it as like a golf ball that's been put in mud, right? When we want to clear the mud, we're shown this beautiful white golf ball underneath. I see this as the soul. I see this as every human. The more we can let go of the way we think we're meant to be, the way we're meant to act, even spiritually, and allow all those layers to release, that is where we truly find the truth of who we are. And it's actually very, very simple. It is simplicity, it is love, it is just the core essence of who you are. And you can allow that to start to create from the inside out in your reality. I feel in life that we can tend to put everyone else on a pedestal, or we're so critical and hard on ourselves, yet everyone else, we can see the good in other people, right? You may look at someone and just think they're utterly incredible and amazing. And I feel that that love, that higher awareness that we hold for other people, just seeing the best in people, how we remember who we really are is understanding and seeing who that other person is. Because again, when we see that source within another person, when we see that soul in another person, when we can look in another person's eyes and say, I love you just for you being you, you're actually remembering who you are, because it's all a reflection. The more you can connect to that person's soul and see the beauty and the uniqueness of their essence, is the more you're going to remember that within yourself.
What does our soul want us to know?
All the soul wants from us is to remember who we really are. Because when we witness people walking around each and every day, they've forgotten the light, the soul that resides within them. The soul's only desire is for us to continue to come back to that source, that we are worthy of something, we are connected to something far greater, that we are nothing but that love. Our soul is like our cheerleader, and the words that I feel our soul wants us to know is that we are a light warrior. We are a light being. We are nothing but love. We are so sovereign and beautiful and powerful, and this divine, magnificent light that we sometimes forget. Your soul wants you to know that you are a divine light. You are a divine warrior. You are a magnificent, expansive beam of light, and your soul wants you to continue to remember who you are in every moment of every day. I feel like I could have done that better. Your soul wants you to know that you are a divine being of light that is nothing but love, created by the love, the form of love, the embodiment of love.
Is there a positive message or message of hope you'd like to leave us with?
To constantly remember who you are. There's not going to be this perfect string where every moment you remember you're this divine, sovereign being, you're connected to love. We're going to get into the hustle and bustle of life. But it's constantly bringing back to that one understanding, that one awareness that you are nothing but this love and this light. The one thing that I believe is going to shift humanity as a collective is remembering that love surrounds us, love is within us, that we are loved by our Creator so unconditionally. And the more we start to embed that belief within us, the more we start to feel that daily and we start to connect to that soul essence within us daily, the more we're going to have a backbone. We're going to feel that energetic support. We're going to feel that spiritual support by our guides, by our angels, by all the team around us that want to love, guide, and protect us. And the more you can connect to that and be a beacon of light for others, to be a lighthouse for others, to inspire and reflect the light within them, that is where you're going to create so much change, such a ripple, just through you daring to be bold, to be fully in the light, to fully honor the vessel within you, to honor the source within you.